Good day and welcome to Mathematics Grade 2. Today we are going to be looking at the work for week 4, day 1, which is sharing leading to fractions. If you have any questions or inquiries, please feel free to email me at teachernarisha@gmail.com. Today for the counting activity, we are counting to 125 and no longer just to 100. So count from 1 to 125 and back, counting 2s to 124 and back, counting 5s to 125 and back, and counting 10s to 120 and back. Please make use of the next page as a visual guide. This is a number chart from 1 to 150. Please pause as the children do the counting activity. For mental mathematics, please only allocate 1 minute per section, 1 minute for the number bonds of 8, and 1 minute to answer the double and halving questions. Please make use of the resources given. The goal and aim for today's lesson is to solve and explain solutions to practical problems that involve equal sharing, leading to solutions that include unitary fractions. For today, we are going to be focusing on halves, thirds, quarters, and fifths. It's easy to count whole things, for instance, a pizza, a chocolate slab, and a donut. But what if we only had parts of a pizza, or part of the chocolate, or part of the donut? How would we count it? We would count it by making use of fractions. Fractions is if we only have a piece of the whole given. We write fractions like this, with one number on top of the other, and we draw a line in between. The number on the bottom will always represent the denominator, which means this tells us how many equal pieces an object has been shared into. The number at the top is called the numerator, and this tells us how many pieces we are looking at. Let's say I have a donut and I want to share it between two. So I have to share the donut equally. That means I have how many parts? I have 2 parts, therefore my denominator will be 2. If I only have one part of the donut, I write 1 numerator over the denominator. So I have 1 part of the 2 parts. 1 over 2 will always be called a half. I have half of the donut. If I have both parts of the donut, I write 2 parts of 2. If I have the same number at the top and the same number at the bottom, you can see I have a whole. What if I have a sandwich and I want to share my sandwich between 3 friends? Then I have to cut my sandwich into 3 equal pieces, like so. But if I only have one piece of the sandwich, I have 1 over 3. So my denominator will be 3 because we had 3 pieces and I only have 1. So this we call a third. If I have 2 pieces of the sandwich, we call this 2/3 because we work in 3. If we share something in 3, we have thirds. If I have 3 pieces of the sandwich, then I have 3 pieces of 3 possible pieces, so I have a whole. What if I have a pizza and I have my pizza, I separated it into 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. That means my denominator is going to be a 4. But what if I only have one piece of the pizza? 1 over 4. I have one piece of 4 possible pieces. 1 over 4 is called 1 quarter. If I have 2 pieces of pizza, so I have 2 pieces out of the 4 possible pizzas, I have 2 quarters. If I have 3 pieces out of the 4 possible pieces of pizza, I have 3 quarters. And if I have all 4 pieces of pizza, so 4 over 4, I have a whole piece of pizza. Now I have a chocolate bar and I want to share it between 5 friends. As we see, I have 5 rows here, so that will be the easiest to share it up in. So I will cut my chocolate bar up into 5 pieces. So my denominator will be 5 because I had 5 pieces, and here I only have 1 piece out of the 5. 1 piece of 5 is called a fifth. 2 pieces of 5 pieces is called 2/5. 3 pieces of 5 is called 3/5. 4 pieces out of the 5 pieces is called 4/5. And then if I have 5 pieces out of the 5 pieces, look, two numbers that are the same, I have a whole. So let's do a quick recap. When we divide something into two equal parts, we call these parts halves. 1/2, 2/2. 2/2 is a whole. When we divide something into three equal parts, we call these parts thirds. So I have one part, so it's a third. I have another part, a third, and then I have another part, a third. If I have two parts, it's 2/3, and if I have three parts, it's a whole. When we divide something into four equal parts, we call these parts quarters. Focus on the spelling. So here I have 1/4, another quarter, another quarter, and another quarter. So if I have two pieces of the quarter, I have 2 quarters. If I have 3 pieces, I have 3 quarters. And if I have 4 pieces, I have a whole. Now, if we split up something into 5 equal parts, we call each part a fifth. So this is a fifth, this is a fifth, this is a fifth, this is a fifth, and this is a fifth. If I have 2 pieces out of the 5, I have 2/5. If I have 3 pieces out of the 5, I have 3/5. And if I have 4 pieces out of the 5, I have 4/5. But if I have all 5 pieces of the 5 possible pieces, I have a whole. We write fractions like this, with one number on top of another. The number at the bottom is called the denominator. The denominator tells us how many equal pieces we have. And the number at the top is called the numerator, and it tells us how many pieces we are looking at. So we write the two numbers on top of each other. The number at the bottom will always tell you how many equal parts we have. The number at the top will tell you how many pieces you are looking at. So here is a fraction wall. We did 1/2 today, 2/2, thirds, quarters, and fifths. So if I take 1/2 and I divide it into 2 pieces, I have a half and another half. If I have 1/2 and I divide it into 3 pieces, I have 1/3, another third, and another third. If I have 1/2 and I divide it into 4 equal pieces, I have 1/4, 1/4, another quarter, another quarter, and another quarter, not fourths. And then if I have 1/2 and I divide it into 5 equal pieces, I have 1/5, another fifth, another fifth, another fifth, and another fifth. So I have halves, thirds, quarters, and fifths. Thank you so much for coming today to the lesson. I will see you tomorrow where we will continue with our fractions.